Yep, yes we are. So this, you guys really gave great responses, and I appreciate everyone being really involved. And again, don't forget that you can be involved over the mic. Also, we'd love to hear your voices. So I wanna just move on quickly from this question. But during this lesson, I would really like it if everyone would please keep in mind this question of not just why is Jerusalem important, but why is Jerusalem important to you? I'm gonna put something in the chat box right now. I'm pretty sure that's the correct one, which is a YouTube clip, and I'm gonna show you just a little slide before I would like you guys to watch. So just hold on one second. I have to share my screen. Okay, so Jerusalem, if I forget you. So we're going to talk about that in a bit, but there's a famous song by Matisyahu. And what I want you to think about is the chorus. What does the meaning of the chorus mean? Which it says, Jerusalem, if I forget you, then let my right hand forget what it is supposed to do, and then me. Okay? So watch the video, and then please answer that question in the chat box or over the mic.
Your money on car insurance.
We now fast forward to the end of this Geico ad so you can get to
Jerusalem, if I forget you, fire and a gun come from it. Jerusalem, if I forget you, let my right hand.
Okay, so we should be getting some responses as people finish the videos. And I'm going to post again what I'd like everyone to do. The question is, what do you think the meaning of the chorus is? Jerusalem, if I forget you, then let my right hand forget what it is supposed to do. You could take time to think about this.
Very good, Hunter. I like that answer. Why your right hand? I really like that answer, Hunter. Well, people are writing, then what do you do with your right hand? It's necessary. Hunter. Thank you, Daniel.
You hold it up and promise with your right hand.
Nice.
I didn't think of that one. That's a good one. Very nice, Melissa and Danny.
Okay. So we had some really great responses here, some really fantastic responses concerning, the connection between the right hand and between Jerusalem. And I think a lot of people had I don't know if it's something which I think makes a lot of sense, is that the right hand is something very regular, right? Something very regular, part of your life and everything. And Jerusalem has that idea that it's also part of our life, right? And I think there's this connection. I think a lot of people thought of some really great ideas, but just that idea that Jerusalem is sort of part of our everyday normal life, and if we forget about it, then it's like we're getting a right hand, which is really interesting. And I guess some food for thought is think about times when Jerusalem did not exist, when the Jewish people did not have a Jerusalem to call their own, and yet they did not forget that. And just the last thought is that this line, Jerusalem, if I forget you, let my right hand forget what I'm supposed to do, comes from a famous prayer that was said by the Jews who were kicked out of Israel many, 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 many years ago. And they sang that song when they were kicked out. And if you ever heard of the song "By the Rivers of Babylon," Bob Marley has a song, and many other people. It comes from, they take it from that prayer. Right. So thank you very much. Okay. Guess we're gonna continue with. Sorry, hold on one second. Just want to share my screen. We're going to continue with an activity right now. Pretty simple. We've done, I don't know if we've done this before. Basically, we're going to show you two pictures is going to be on an Excel spreadsheet. And what we'd like you to do is to take these two pictures and explain how each of these pictures connects to Jerusalem. Each of these two pictures connects to Jerusalem. Want you to explain that. In addition, want you to give a hashtag to it. So I'm going to show you. Michal, did you post the link?
I'll do it now.
So Michal's going to post the link. Maybe I could also show it to you on. I'll try showing it to you on my screen, which is right here. Where'd the picture go? Oh, I think the pictures are coming up. So when you open it, it will take some time for the pictures to load, but the pictures should load, and there's 2 pictures. And what I'd like you to do is first you write your name. So I would write Zach. Then I'd like you to please explain what is the connection with the picture. And then lastly, write a hashtag. So hashtag Jerusalem, but make it a little bit more creative. Okay? If you have any questions, please write it on the chat board.
The link is now in the box, in the chat box. I can see everyone joining up. Oh, who got to be a koala? That's fun. Try and make the hashtags also a few words, not just one. Some very creative connections here.
My spot and my explanation, and now it's not there.
Who's speaking? Sorry.
Let's just try to go to the chat box, please. Thanks. Okay, great jobs. You guys can see the different responses and the different hashtags. Really good. You guys are pros at hashtags, being that it was made during your time. Right. So as most people saw, the first picture, as you guys saw, was Abraham going to sacrifice Isaac. The connection there, as many people wrote, is that it was on Mount Moriah, which that was what it was described in the Torah, which we know, or as many of the explanations tells us, that it was Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a very many hills. And they came to a special hill in Jerusalem called Har Moriah, which was where later on, and this is connection to the next picture, was where the temple, the Beit HaMikdash, was eventually built. And that picture, which you see in the second picture, is a depiction. It's not a real picture of what the temple looked like during the times of the holidays, specifically Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot. And those pictures really tell us the really important idea, the religious symbolism behind Jerusalem being a main center for Judaism, being that's where the temple was, where all Jews from all over the world. A lot of people talked about unity before, right? Exactly, Daniel. The Western Wall, great. The Western Wall was one of the walls that surrounded the temple. It was the wall that was closest to the holiest part of the temple. That's why it's really considered a big deal. And if we go back to the first picture, one of the first stories we have of our patriarchs is the story of Abraham and Isaac in Jerusalem. And so these are important ideas of history and religiosity about the significance of Jerusalem. Michal.
Okay, great. So we've started learning a little bit about the history of Jerusalem. And are we here? Okay, just now by connecting the pictures to Jerusalem. And one other thing that Zach found, actually, this quote about Jerusalem. It's something else that you guys also mentioned about it being, and also Matisyahu in his song mentioned, that it's not just the place itself. It's not the physical place. It's what we make it. So the Western Wall wouldn't be a special place if people didn't go there and pray there. So Jerusalem wouldn't be, the land of Israel wouldn't be a special place without Jerusalem. Jerusalem is what makes it a special place. And what makes Jerusalem a special place is the people. So it's a cycle of everyone kind of making everything special. Okay, so now we are doing a poll. You can please write your answers in the chat box. How many times do you think Jerusalem is mentioned in the Bible? So we spoke about it being in the 2 stories that appear in the Bible, but the name Jerusalem, the word Jerusalem, how many times is it mentioned? A, B, C, or D? Okay, do we have an idea on what the majority answer is yet? Mentioned how many times? Okay, so I'm going to tell you the answers now. So it depends how you're counting the words Jerusalem, because Jerusalem also has other names in the Bible. Does anyone know any of the other names of Jerusalem? No, Holy Land refers to the whole land, Jerusalem refers to the city. The name Zion or Zion in Hebrew refers to Yerushalayim as well, it refers to Jerusalem. So, excellent, thank you. So, J-Town, not exactly in the Bible, but that's what some people call it. So actually, if you want to know the answer, you can ask the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, who in 2000, no, it wasn't in 2010, sorry. It was in 2010. He made a whole speech about the importance of Jerusalem and said that the word Jerusalem and Zion appear in the Bible. Wait for it. 850 times. Okay, so C. So that is huge. I don't know if anyone guessed C. Danny K, Rachel. Thank you guys. Well done. Okay, so 850 times. That's a lot of times. So if something's mentioned in the Bible, yes, chocolate. If something's mentioned in the Bible, what do you think that means so many times? Is everything mentioned in the Bible? Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, the Bible does not waste words. Okay, the Bible is very succinct and sometimes misses out hugely important bits of information. But the fact that it chooses to use the words Jerusalem and Zion so many times shows how important it was to the people, or to the Jewish people. Okay, so that's in terms of the Bible. So we've spoken about history, Bible, tradition. Now let's talk about modern Jerusalem.
Oh.
Why is modern Jerusalem important to us, and where does that come from? So I don't know if any of you know what happened to Jerusalem in 1948. For 19 years, from 1948 to 1967, who ruled Jerusalem? Please talk. I'm getting sick of hearing my own voice. Guesses. Let's go. Who ruled Jerusalem 1948 to 1967? Well, actually, to find out the answer to that, you are now going to look at a video about the history of Jerusalem, because lots of people ruled Jerusalem for lots of time periods, so don't be confused. You're going to watch this video, and Zach has prepared some really cool questions for you to answer, so that before you watch the next part of the video, you can answer those questions. Zach has put it, is also in the chat box. Thank you, Zach. So please go to that link, add in your name, watch the video. Don't forget to keep yourselves muted and answer the questions. And then later, come back and tell us who ruled Jerusalem from 1948 to 1967. So it'll be about 5 minutes.
A bit more because of the questions.
Okay, you should be finishing up. Let's see if you can answer the question in the chat box. Hope you all answered the questions right on Zaption. Anybody? Let us know if you need a bit more time. Video, if not, you should be answering the question. Or trying to decide which of those time periods you would have liked to have lived in Jerusalem. Of all the different times of history that you saw there. Okay. Has everybody finished? Yes, no. Okay, I'm just going to, if no one can answer the question, I'm just going to quickly move on and I'll answer it for you. Oh, sorry?
I didn't finish. Yeah.
You didn't finish? Okay, so I'll wait another minute.
The Jordanians.
Yes, who was that?
The Jordanians.
Thank you. Wait, who just answered that question?
Daniel Fuchs.
Ah, very good. Thank you, Daniel. So yes, the Jordanians were ruling most of Jerusalem at the time, or at least the area where the Temple Mount was, where the temple previously was, and where the Western Wall was. And you can see here on the left, there's a picture of the border of Israeli policemen and Jordanian policemen over the border. This is quite friendly. Usually there was actually a lot of shooting and things like that going on in between them. Fantastic, Melissa. I like that. And if you can see on the right here, there's a mountain called Mount Zion, which was the highest point to see into the old city of Jerusalem, even though people were not allowed in there. Even also a lot of Christian worshippers were not allowed in there. So that's where a lot of Jewish worshippers went to pray, because they could see the Western Wall or the mountain from there. So that's just a picture of that. Now, if we talked about, if you saw in the movie about the 6-Day War, you would have seen that in the 6-Day War, Jerusalem was reunited, as in before it was split because the Jordanians were ruling part of it, and in 1967 it was reunited. And there was a very famous song that's connected to that, and we're going to put in the link to a lino board about that song, Jerusalem of Gold. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it. You can answer at least one of the questions that's on a lino board, more if you finish the first one. And yeah, looking forward to see what you learn about Jerusalem of Gold. So let's go. Don't forget to add your name to your post. I'd love to see everyone's posts. So far, we only have a few people, and we're going to have to move on. Okay, so for this week's independent exercise, what we're going to be doing is I'm putting a link to an article in the chat box recommending 18 things to do for free in Jerusalem. And you can look over that and see what you would want to do. And let's say you only have time to visit one of those places on the 18 places. We want you to decide which one you're going to and tell us why you're going to that in the Google spreadsheet that Zach just posted. So that's the independent exercise for this week. We hope you learned a lot about Jerusalem. First of all, about the religious significance, that it's a place where a lot of the Bible stories happened. So there's a lot of rich history there. The temple was there. King David called it the capital city of Israel, and it stayed that way for thousands of years. And also the more modern significance of the fact that we feel very privileged to have Jerusalem because we know what it was like when we didn't have all of Jerusalem. And I hope you learned a lot about the song Jerusalem of Gold, Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, and next time you hear it, you'll understand a bit more about where it came from. Just so you realize, the song was written before Jerusalem was reunited. So it was written only 3 weeks before it was released. So it's really incredible to think about the timing. And only afterwards, once they did reunite the city, did Naomi Shemer write the verse that the rabbi quoted in the chat, that everyone thinks that describes the reunification of Jerusalem, which is incredible. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you've thought about, now that you've learned more about what Jerusalem is and was, how it's important for you and why it's important for you, and you can kind of formulate your own ideas about that.
So where would we get the places from?
Yeah, I put it on the chat box, but I'll post it again.
Okay.
It's an article here.
One link is to the article and one link is to the Google Doc to put your answers.
Yeah, this is the article, and on the top it's the link for the spreadsheet. We'll send it to you also in the email this week, and we hope you have a great week. And we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.